Okay, so now that the vast majority of the heads cam intake part of the engine is done, I'm ready to start doing actual turbo parts. Which the first thing is really to start putting the headers on. But before I even do that, I want to go ahead and punch the hole for the oil return in the pan. You can see there I've started working on punching it. I measured it as per the instructions and made the mark where it's supposed to be. And I've just been hacking away at it. We don't quite have a hole yet, but we're getting pretty close. So I keep working at that and we'll have a hole soon. And then I've already got a tap and some RTV. I'm gonna go ahead and put that bung there for good once I get access to it. So I'm working on it. So the good news is, can't really see it. Let me find the flashlights. Let's see, shop. Here we go. Alright. The good news is we successfully got a hole punched, but before I make it too big, I wanted to look at the bung and see, you know, how big it really needs to be. And I found out that because I got this kit used, the previous owner, I guess, kept that bung in his Mustang, which granted, I probably wouldn't have taken it out either, but that's bad news for me because it means I need to track down a bung. So I decided to move to putting in the sending unit for this autometer oil pressure gauge, and sadly, the stock sending unit is this size. Here's my thumb for reference. And it just barely fits in right there. And the freaking autometer one is huge. It's massive. There's no way that's fitting in there. I mean, even if I got like a 90-degree bung, there's just no way it would fit. So the only way it might is with a 45-degree bung. So I'm gonna try and track one of those down. See if I can make something work, because I'd rather use this than try to make the stock one work or something goofy like that. So yeah, I'm kind of at a point where I need some supplies before I can continue, so that's just how it goes. Maybe I can track these fittings down at Lowe's. I'm gonna try, and if not, then I'll have to order online, so it is what it is, and that's where I gotta stop for tonight. Okay, so after doing a lot of research and ordering some stuff and going to the store to get some more tools, I am back at it. So I've taken this plumb bob and put it on the end of a pipe that I had laying around. Basically, it just gives me a little more leverage to punch the hole, and as you can see, I'm making pretty good progress. I did go to the store and get the 3/8 MPT tap that I need to tap this thing out, and the hole needs to be just smaller than the tap, so it needs to be a little bit smaller than that. I'm sorry, it needs to be a little bit bigger than that. So I'm gonna keep punching away at that, and also took a look at what I can do about the oil pressure sender situation, and they make an extension that comes out from here and extends, you know, out here, and it's kind of a 45-degree angle, it looks to be, and you can put all your fittings on that. So I ordered that extension, and then I ordered all the fittings that did not come with this kit. I mean, they did come with it originally, but since I bought it secondhand, they didn't all make it to me. So ordered all the fittings I'm gonna need, and everything else I already have. Most of the stuff the guy did give me, just some fittings I'm sure are still sitting on his car now, so not a big deal. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tap this hole so that I'm fitting in when it comes in, and then after that I'm probably gonna clean up this upper intake here, scrape the old gaskets off it and get it cleaned up and painted to match the lower intake. And then when I'm done with that, we'll see. We'll see. Upper intake had a whole lot of gunk on it, so I took it out front with the power washer and washed the heck out of it. Now I gotta let it dry and then throw some paint on it. Also, while that's drying, I did manage to get the hole punched and the tap ran. So I just punched with a punch. It was actually a plumb bob taped to the end of a pole, and I just beat the heck out of the end of it until I punched a hole in the oil pan, and then used a tap the size of the bung to thread the hole. Can't really see it, but it's good and threaded. So as soon as the bung comes in, I can put some RTV on it and thread it in and cake up the outside of RTV, and it'll be done. So that's ready to go. As soon as the intake's dry, I'll throw some paint on it, and making good progress. Like I said earlier, I've got the fittings on the way for all the oil stuff, so that'll be good. All right, I got a nice coat of paint drying on the upper intake manifold over here. The same color that I did the lower intake, so it should match. Here's the new header bolts, and then I've got the headers actually mocked up. Looking pretty good. They both fit pretty easily. Some of the wires and stuff over here are kind of close, so I'm gonna have to move those before putting this thing on for good, which is what I'm about to do. And also, as you can see, we've got both headers wrapped with, you know, exhaust, whatchamacallit, heat wrap. Both headers heat wrapped, and luckily the other exhaust related pipes are already heat wrapped, so I don't know why the other guy didn't go ahead and do the headers, but maybe because they're a little bit more challenging, but really wasn't that bad. They fit great, so I'm about to put them on, and instead of using the gaskets, I've heard that the best thing to use is this ultra copper gasket maker from Permatex, so that's what I'm going to use. And you shouldn't actually need that much of it. You just have to put it individually around each hole. So yep, I'm gonna put some of this on there and then snug it up by hand, and then give it an hour and torque it down. And that's pretty much all I'm gonna do tonight. It's getting late and I'm hungry, so I'm gonna do that and call it an evening. So I've got the sealant on the exhaust manifold, the driver's side ready to go on. Passenger side's already done, and this is the stuff that I'm using. Permatex ultra copper gasket maker. So I've already mocked it up, it fits, so I'm going to put it on there and use these new header bolts finger tight and let it sit for an hour, and then I'll come down and torque it down after that, and then the headers will be on, hopefully for good. Alright, so I'm waiting on the exhaust silicone to set over here. Those bolts are just finger tight. While I'm at it, I went ahead and put the valve cover gaskets and valve covers on. I'll have to take them off one time before I start it and oil everything up real good, but for now that's fine. And then other than that, I just started mocking up other pieces of the kit. Here's part of the hot side with the wastegate, and I'm just mocking things up to see if they fit. Here's the other piece, and it goes in here like so. It seems to be fitting very well so far. And after I get everything in well, I'm probably gonna go ahead and put the whatever sensor needs to be there, and then I can start working on the wideband stuff. All right, as you can see, I made a little progress. This header is tightened down all the way, and then I tightened this crossover piece, so the hot side is completely done. This is all tightened down, ready for the turbo to go on. I mocked it up, it fits good in there. And speaking of mocking things up, I decided to go ahead and start putting some of the front accessories on to see what kind of room I had to work around. So we got the lower pulley on, and we got the water pump pulley on, and then I went ahead and installed the on-3, alternator relocation bracket, so that I can see where the alternator is going to sit or what kind of room I have to mess with it. And should be plenty of room for the turbo. I think I can move it over a little bit more, so that might end up happening. And then for this side, I'm not jumping on it yet because the only thing I'm going to have over here is the power steering pump. I will not have the AC anymore. So for one, if I put it here, which I believe is where it's going to go with the relocation kit, I won't be able to get to this oil stuff. So I'd like to have that done first. 2, I need to order that relocation kit anyways. And 3, I need to look at exactly how that kit bolts up and see if I need to reuse any of the old brackets that were attached to the power steering and the AC. So yep, I have to see what's good there. And I just have a couple parts left to order on this thing, and really just feels like I'm buttoning stuff up at this point. I got a new thermostat to put in and whatnot, but I'm gonna wait for that. And yeah, making pretty good progress. I guess I'm about to go to bed, but tomorrow I'll probably go ahead and put the turbo on and start working on cold side piping. And yeah, it's going pretty well. Pretty happy with it.